Hey, folks. It's Tuesday, September 16th. Thanks for tuning in for the Todd Allbaugh Show. Got a special show, as always, lined up for today. Kira Sabin, positive psychology coach and life coach.
All-around great person.
Absolutely. Joining us today in the first hour, and Pete Schwaba in the second hour at 3:30 to talk about the passing of Robert Redford. Anyway, we got about 20 seconds until we kick off the show.
Oh, gracias.
From the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. Todd Allbaugh, along with Mr. Aaron Zommers, our producer and engineer. It is 6 minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock on this Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. Welcome in, everybody, to the world headquarters of Civic Media, downtown Madison on State Street, on what has turned out to be another gorgeous fall day, autumn day. It is, I know it's technically not like September 21st or 22nd. I'm calling it. I'm declaring it fall Zommers because at least here in Madison, there are places where the leaves are already turning. Kind of golden, yellow in some places. Look out the window here in State Street. Are those box out? I'm not a good enough person. Here, I see the camera is down. You talk for a second.
Yeah, I'll show the people on the stream what the camera looks like. So the Sam Davison Street Cam is currently pointed downward. Oh, that's a lot better. But you could only see the crosswalk for a second there, and that was my fault. I set it up the Sam Davison Street Cam today. But now you can actually see some of the trees Todd was talking about.
My partner fell off my perch there. I had to go, yes, look at that beautiful Sam Davison Street Cam there. I can see just a little bit of yellows in the leaves, so autumn is upon us. It's that time of year. Brewers, by the way, the boys of summer are turning into the boys of fall. They are back underway tonight against the Los Angeles Angels. Game time at 6:35 for the first pitch. You can hear the pregame show starting at 6:05 on select stations of Civic Media. And as Letterman says, I hope one of yours has been selected. And if you live in Richland Center, it has on WRCE, WISS in Oshkosh. Also, our new station up there in Hayward, not new station anymore, but new Brewer affiliate this year up in Hayward, WBZH. The buzz of the North. The Brewers back underway this afternoon. Big show today. Hope you stick around. In hour number 2, going to have Pete Schwaba, our old friend, host of Nightlight here every evening from 6 until 8. Great reporter, great entertainment guy, actor, writer. He does it all. Pete's going to be here to talk about the passing of a Hollywood legend. In case you didn't hear today yet, this morning it was announced through his agent that Robert Redford, the great Robert Redford, has passed away, 89 years old. Did not quite understand or know that he was quite that old, but 89 years old. Going to talk about connections to Wisconsin and the great life and times of Robert Redford in hour number 2. Also, what's worse for you today, called subscriptions or purchases. We'll get into that a little bit as well. And maybe some time to hear from Jim Nance on, we were going to do this last week, but news of the week kind of bumped it, appropriately so, unfortunately. But now maybe it's more pertinent than ever, and that has to do with, is it really necessary for all of us to take a hot take? So all of that and much, much more coming up later on the show. But here's where I want to begin today, folks. It happens to be National Suicide Prevention Month. Great story last week in the Milwaukee Journal. Great reporting, I should say, by Natalie Eilbert. Headline, suicide rates in Wisconsin have risen 15% in the last decade. Why do they keep going up? We'll repeat this throughout the hour, but if you or someone that you know needs to talk, and it might not specifically about suicide, self-harm, maybe just very, very depressed, the National Suicide prevention hotline, health line is 988. You can simply text or call 988. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Somebody is standing by. So according to this article, the Journal Sentinel, suicide rates in Wisconsin rose by 15% over the last decade, continuing an alarming rise throughout this century. And by the way, if you're listening and you think, I don't want to talk about this, it's too depressing, just, as my grandparents used to say, hold your horses. Going to give you some facts. Going to bring in our friend Kira Sabin here in a minute and have a little fun, but some seriousness, and give you ways to, we all need this right now, everybody, including me. The world is on fire, or we feel like it, as Kira says. And she's going to tell us how to kind of dampen that fire a tad. Back to the story. A new report from Prevent Suicide Wisconsin, published September 4th, captured the mental health fallout of the COVID pandemic, ongoing political division, and financial distress. Further, it noted the impact of shrinking social networks, empty or shuttered community centers, and wayward trust in institutions, all of which can contribute to despair. By the end of 2023, U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy saw social disconnectedness as a burgeoning public health crisis with psychological consequences, and the loneliness epidemic became a household phrase. The factors leading to suicide are complex. It may be tempting to say mental health issues are the main contributing factors for these preventable deaths, but the September 4th report emphasized likely issues such as poverty, violence, historical and childhood traumas, environmental hazards, and even natural disasters have played roles in the suicide rates that plague Wisconsin. This is interesting and important. Firearms continue to be the most common and fatal method of suicide deaths. Women are far likelier than men to end up in hospitals and emergency departments for self-harm injuries. And catch this, all of our folks in rural Wisconsin, rural areas have disproportionately higher rates of suicide than urban regions of the state. Between 2014 and 2023, indigenous people in Wisconsin died by suicide at a disproportionate rates than that of other racial groups. By the way, it replaced whites in Wisconsin as having the highest rates. Lesbian, gay, and bisexual youth, too, are contemplating suicide at rates far higher than the average youth population. Under the what can be done category, and this is important, this is where I want to go with Kira, working with faith-based and cultural organizations is a part of a major plan of action at Prevent Suicide Wisconsin. It's about mending those frayed pathways to real-life connections, whether it's in the workplace, schools, community spaces, or houses of worship. Again, that's from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel from last week, September 9th. Want to talk all of this about this with our guest today, first hour. She's been on the program before, a positivity psychology midlife coach. She's also a podcaster. You can find her at thrivewithkira.com or on the socials, simply at thrivewithkira, Kira, or thrivewithkira.com. Joining us via StreamYard, Kira Sabin. Kira, how in the world are you, my friend?
I've been better. You?
Kind of the same, but now, but see, this is why when Kira and I get in, and in full disclosure, people who watch this show know this, we've basically been lifelong friends, our families and whatnot, grew up in the same town. I can laugh and smile and find reasons for joy when I talk with you, even about difficult topics. And I think at the end of the day, isn't that what a lot of this segment is about?
Absolutely. I think that we want to think that we are in unprecedented times, and unfortunately, we're not.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what I came here to talk about today, is seeing the balance, seeing the joy even in the tough, and remembering to connect, reach out, and create community, because that's the only way I think we're out of this mess.
I totally agree. And again, listeners of this program probably know this, but for those that might be new to the show, Kira and I have known each other our whole lives. We're always on the same political side of the fence. back when the days I was Republican.
Yes, yes. I was like, let's clarify which one of us. Sorry. Go ahead.
Right. But Kira's been enormously helpful in my life, and there have been points in my life. It's kind of like I think there's a song about this, but it's like a rock in a stream, right? I guess it's from Wicked, right? Where the courses are changed. You can't undo that. And I think this weekend, now I know, Kira provided me with one of those rocks in a stream type of moment when you post on your Instagram page, Kira. Really great post. And that's the whole thrust of today with you. You start out by saying, right now, the world is on fire. Something we can forget is this. Every single day, wonderful and horrible things happen. But in our world, in our lives, both truths exist. Always. And that's where it begins. And this is a real watershed moment, not just for me, but for this program. And it made me rethink or reevaluate where we were going with this show. And I said yesterday, openly on this show, look, I don't have the bandwidth. We don't have the staff at this show to handle every single thing that comes out of the news fire hose and fact check that. Because it used to be right. Oh, well, the Department of Labor Statistics says this, it must be true. And I don't want to make this overtly political, but with the people in charge now in D.C., that is no longer the case. So we essentially have to fact check everything we bring on this program, and it can be overwhelming. And I forget, there's also great things happening in each of our neighborhoods, Kira.
I think it's very interesting. And, I think, Todd, you and I over the years have talked about this before. But it gets really easy to focus only on what we see or what's only feeling like it's personally affecting us. But we forget that there are beautiful and absolutely awful things that happen in this world every day, whether it's personally to somebody, whether it's societally or culturally. We might have had a good 4 years or whatever, and we think, oh, wow, my life's going okay. The person who I voted for is at the office, like, life's okay. The thing is that's not true. And that's not bad or good. It just is. But I think that there is a really, really smart realization when we realize this is the way it's always been. There is always going to be push and pull. There's always going to be progress and then people pulling back on it. This is the way it's always been. And when we forget that, when we go, this is the worst, this is awful, we forget to look around on a day-to-day basis for joy, for connection, for community, all the things that absolutely existed 1 year ago, all the things that existed 10 years ago, all the things that existed 100 years ago. We are just in cycles. We are in seasons. And we will make it through this cycle and we will make it through this season.
It's such an important reminder because I heard a lot of people last week, even still this week, saying things after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, such as, there will never be another outdoor political event ever again. This is going to stop. Well, really? You think that's what people say? I mean, did we say when JFK got shot in a parade in Dallas, we'll never have another parade in the world again? When Martin Luther King got shot, outside, we'll never have another outdoor political thing. When we had 100,000 protesters at the state capitol during Act 10, people were saying the public will never ever be able to get into the. So you're so right that in the moment we focus on the now and the dread, and we almost like, I'm not self-fulfilling, but we just kind of like forward it and say, well, it'll never get better. And that's freaking depressing.
And because if we don't have hope, we don't have much, right? Like, hope is what keeps us going. Hope is what keeps us motivated. Hope is what has us reaching out, connecting, and then fear has us shut down, avoiding. And, if we're talking about, although I would not say that suicide is a topic I talk about regularly, if we're talking about suicide, it's people who feel alone. It's people who feel like they don't have other people. So if we want to start changing this.
Come back to talk more with Kira Sabin in just a minute. Don't worry, we're not Pollyanna here. Believe me, Kira does not look at the world through rose-colored glasses. We're going to get real, but we're all going to give us some ways why we can understand how we feel and how we get better. Don't go anywhere. It's the Allbaugh Show on Civic Media. I already feel better.
Do you? That's
I do.
good. I'm
Yeah.
glad. I better read
You
through this so
don't.
I know what I'm talking about. Uh,
I'm just going. We can just go through the. I literally have your Insta post in front of me, so
okay.
I
I
kind
do
of did the
too. I
first.
have it
All
too.
right,
You'll just see
so
me
I kind of did the
occasionally.
first. I did the first card,
Okay.
basically in the intro, and so now I can move on to some moments land heavily on us, and just literally go through 'em. That's all I'm looking for. How long do we have you for? What's your schedule like? I don't want to be rude.
This is the last official thing I have today,
All right,
but
so
I
in other
always have
words,
things to do
well,
afterwards.
yes, of course. All right. Well, let's plan on till 10 till then, and see where it goes. And I'm on record because I'm on the stream. I'll have to take Kira and Danny out to dinner to say thank you. So there you go.
All right, that's on record.
That's on record.
Where are we
I
going?
mean it.
Let's nail
I'm
you
taking
down while
you.
we're.
All right. Well,
I know, but where?
Where
Where are we
do you-
going?
what- I'm asking you. Where do you want to go?
I'm going to think about that. I haven't been to Harvey House yet.
I haven't been there either. Wow.
I know. You see how I
Kira
aim
goes
big?
right to the.
Hey, ask for what you want. We can only work from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. I like that though. I like that. A
I'm
lot.
teasing.
No, I like that.
You never know.
We'll have to
You
check it
never
out.
know.
Yeah.
Do you know about year 536?
My 536.
No. Do you know about year 536?
I do not.
AD? Okay. I may bring it up.
All right. See? We're already into history with Kira.
I know. Absolutely.
Oh wow, yeah, that's pretty
And that's a good
big
thing.
event. I looked it up.
Okay.
Did you? Just a bit of a reminder.
Right, about 20 seconds.
All right, thank you.
Did you look at what it is?
Pursuing truth wherever it may live, lead, and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. That's what happens when a dyslexic guy tries to read something and do something else at the
Do you
same
want to
time.
do over on that one?
Yeah, can you just start the whole show? No, I'm just kidding. We're fine. Well, I was reading, actually, Kira and I during the break, and you can tune in, Facebook, StreamYard, Twitter, X, Twix, whatever you want to call it, and watch the video of the show. And we leave the curtains open. You know, if the neighbors want to look in, that's fine, and they can see what we're doing during the break. And I was telling Kira for her, sadly we don't write her a check when she comes on, but I said, I got to take you and your wonderful husband Danny out to dinner. And so she suggested the Harvey House here, very Tony Place in Madison. I said, well,
I've been
okay.
there once.
What?
Really?
A Tony
have.
place?
It's kind of Tony. I mean, it's kind of upscale.
What
I mean,
is-
it's
It is. It is. I've
I
never
don't
heard the
know what-
expression Tony place.
really?
That's amazing.
You never heard of that
No.
before? All right.
No.
Our friend and colleague Jeff Perry, ongoing contributor on Facebook, says, "How about Arby's?"
We have the meats.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks,
We
Jeff.
have,
Thanks for looking out for me.
Kira Sabin, positive psychology midlife coach and podcaster extraordinaire with us. You can find her all of her work at Thrive with Kira on the socials, or her website is thrivewithkira, KIRA.com. Let's get this in quickly because I don't want to run out of time. You have a workshop going on. These are tremendous. They're retreats. They're predominantly focused on women. I think you got a couple of spaces left. If people listen and say, I want to spend more time with Kira because she can help me, I can tell you she can. How do they find out?
Yeah, Thrive with Kira has all the information. I run a great midlife program. It's 6 months long. We really dig in together. It starts off with a 5-day retreat here in Madison. And then we do 6 months of building self-worth, boundaries, emotional regulation, all the kind of things that they've discovered, but we never learned as kids in our Gen X lives. So it just helps us be able to deal with life better because as we know, it can be tough. And if you're a woman in midlife, it can be hormonally very tough. So we
I obviously don't understand that, but as a guy, but no, I live vicariously through you and my sister. So there you go. um, uh, Kira, by the way, it is National Mental Health Awareness Month. Also talking about death by suicide, Wisconsin, but that's not the focus of this segment. Really, it hit me this Kira's post over the weekend on Instagram, just recognizing that the world can feel on fire right now. And it's not just the assassination of Charlie Kirk, which is horrible and terrible, but everything that surrounds that, other crises that seem to be going on a daily basis. Kira, you've talked to us before that physiologically, our brains are literally not wired to handle a crisis every day like this. And you give us some tips on recognizing some things, and then we're going to move into how we can address that, how we can feel better. So let's start off with this. Just you lay it out there. Some moments just land heavy on us.
So I would love to read a little bit of this. Yeah, because I
Please.
did this post.
Yep.
It's because I saw chaos
Mhm.
online, right? And although I'm not always a big fan of social media, I am there because of my business. I'm talking to
Mhm.
women and different people. Um, but it just made me see people were fighting, people were yelling at each other. And I just held up this little mirror to say, you know, whether this impacts you personally or not, like this is what always is. So some moments land heavy on us, others pass us by, and most we don't even know happen at all, right? Around the world, there's so many things happening that we don't know about because we only catch a fraction of what this world holds, right? Like we might have the best day ever and our neighbor might have lost a pet and is
Mhm.
crying, right? Like we don't really know. And at any given moment, someone feels like they never stop crying. And at the same time, someone else is discovering that they can laugh again. This is, this is, it's always going to be hard. And we just have to notice the good because every single day holds so much beauty. Art is being created, songs are being sung, friendships are beginning, love is unfolding, silliness and happy accidents happen. Animals making us smile, trees being planted, stories being told, sunsets being watched, ideas being shared, strangers helping strangers. And I'm sharing all of that because I have a background in positive psychology. And the greatest thing about positive psychology is not Pollyanna, everything's fine.
Mhm.
It's making sure you notice the good because our brains naturally go to the bad. There's something called negativity bias. It is a cognitive bias. And because of the way our brains have evolved from early on, we are constantly scanning for bad. It's just what our brains do to protect us, to keep us safe. But that means that we can get really stuck in the bad, where all we're seeing is bad. All we're focusing on is bad. We surround ourselves with these heavy things all the time. And as you mentioned, which is one of my favorite things, we almost become self-fulfilling prophecies. If
Mhm.
all we see is badness and hate in the world, then all you will see is badness and hate in the world, and you will probably be impacted by the badness and the hate. But
And
every day there's good too.
agree or disagree, the people
Okay.
that write the algorithms for social media out there, let alone the bots, as they call them, from China and Russia that are literally programmed, they know what you just said. And these
Mhm.
algorithms tap in on our sense of dread and just obsessing. Agree or disagree? And that only makes the problem worse.
Absolutely. And as people, we have to get better than it. We have to be a little bit smarter than some algorithm, right? If
Mhm.
social media doesn't feel good, get off social media. I will say I am not on Facebook anymore. I felt like crap every time I was on there. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to find a way to connect with the people I want to connect there in different ways, right? We
Mhm.
have to be thoughtful to where we put our time, where we put our energy, who we're giving it to. And it gets really, really easy with our news cycle, with everything else, to get swept up in it. But they're not spending their time talking about all the good things too.
We've only just begun our conversation with positive psychology midlife coach Kira Sabin. We're going to look at history, why we feel this way, and give you tips, Kira will, on how we move past it, how we move on, how we move forward positivity and feel better about ourselves. Don't go anywhere. Farm News is next. It's the Allbaugh Show on Civic Media.
Are we taking this where you want to go?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
time always
Okay.
just flies
Good.
by. Yeah, that's nice.
Also, we have about 5 minutes to our next segment. Do you have a song request?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
What do you need
not
to
it's
listen
the end
to?
of the world as we know it, and I feel
No,
fine.
no,
Not that.
no, not that.
Your sister and Tammy and I have been making jokes about that song, and I was like, no one will ever ruin REM for me ever.
No.
I trust you, Aaron. I trust you completely. I don't know what happened.
Wow.
I
All
got.
right, I'll find
Oh,
something.
you have a little glitch there. I was
I-
kind of vamping until I heard it come back on. So
Yeah, no, good, because like all of a sudden my microphone turned off. I have no idea why, but it
you're
seems to be
fine
okay.
now.
Yeah, okay, great.
Just a gremlin.
All right.
Relentless gremlins.
Where are
How's your
the?
summer been, Kira?
Oh, there's Terry. Arby's. How's my summer? Uh,
Or is that a loaded question today? Yeah.
no. I mean, I think the answer is what the answer on this is, which is it's been good and not good, right? Like I've had good things happen,
Right.
and and I'm also just a woman in perimenopause, which has its daily challenges too, right? So
Dr.
I've
Lively
almost
has talked to this show about this. My heart goes out because I'm sure it can't be fun.
it is the worst. It's as nicely as I can put it. It is
That's
really,
cleaning it up.
yep, it's the worst. Just like, are you a Parks and Rec fan?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't watch every episode. I watched a few episodes. I know.
This is very
My sister says
upsetting.
the same thing. Yeah.
Right, but
I get
there is
admonished all the time for not watching shows.
it's just great because there's a character named John Raffio on there, and he's always going the worst. Like he's just, that's how I feel about hormonal changes in midlife. But
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
glad you
but
joined us.
honestly, my Instagram has blown up, and I've gotten to
Great.
meet and grow my community, and lots of good things too.
That's awesome. That's really good stuff. Well, I'm honest to God, I shared this with our friend Brady Ewing this weekend. I was hanging out with him and his family and down at the Brewers game. I read it to him on the way down. He's like, "That's so good." He was very impressed.
Oh,
Thought it was very helpful.
that's nice. Brady Ewing is still like, because I had Mrs. Ewing as a first grade teacher. Yeah, and then
grandma.
right, and then his dad, who I'm forgetting his name right now, he used to come and visit. Dave. Yeah, he used to come visit as a high schooler when I was in first grade, right? And so
Really?
yeah,
Get
because he was,
out.
I think, a junior or senior. So he would come visit his mom, just like I would do when
Oh,
mom was
yeah,
teaching. Yeah, so it's kind of, so that's how I always like Brady always feels like 25 to me, and I'm sure he's not, right? Like he always just feels really young.
30 something. I don't know, 31, 32, somewhere in there.
So do you know what, so Aaron, you know about year 536?
I mean, I not beyond just having looked it up when you mentioned it and seeing.
Yeah.
I mean, do I say what it is or not?
Oh,
Do
no.
we want it to
Well,
be like
I just might talk about it. I just think it's interesting. I listened to like an NPR episode years ago.
Yeah,
and then I always go back to it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I always go back to it as when things are bad. At least it's not the year 536.
Historian Michael McCormick has called the year 536, quote, the beginning of one of the worst periods to be alive, if not the worst year, unquote. I won't explain why,
All right.
Kira might, but yeah.
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? I'll start off just by kind of resetting it, reintroducing you, and read kind of the last card about the reminder is this, and then say, but Kira, as we look at history, things have been worse. I'll let you go from there.
Yep. That's cool.
Sweet. I love those glasses, by the way.
Thanks. I have like 20 pairs of glasses.
You and my sister. Now, Heather reads them or uses them basically for reading, but do you need them all the time or just for reading?
30 seconds.
I use them, like I wear them all the time, but like not when I work on the computer. But I do have readers too, because
here we go.
Yeah.
that I heard of once in a lullaby.
Welcome back to the Allbaugh Show on a Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. 35 minutes now past the hour of 2 o'clock. Zomer's dialing up little Judy Garland, the original, Somewhere Over the Rainbow from Wizard of Oz. Makes my sister very happy. That's for sure. But I think that's
For sure.
appropriate because I think a lot of us out there we get stuck in what we think is dread, and you can't even handle reality. And you think someday things have to get better. And here to help explain all that and walk us through it, because things right now, as she has said, it can feel like the world is on fire. And yes, part of that's the context of the assassination of Charlie Kirk last week, but also just the constant fire hose, as they say, of information. It just comes out so quickly and so fast that we cannot handle it all, and it becomes overwhelming. And we started off this hour by this great article in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel by Natalie Eilbert, that Wisconsin death by suicide rates have risen by 15% in the last decade. And this is not a specifically suicide prevention episode, but it's relatable. And part of that is just how we take care of our mental health in this Mental Health Awareness Month. And here to walk us through it, continue to walk us through it, Kira Sabin, positive psychology midlife coach. She also has a podcast called Rom-Com Rescue. Check that out. That's a lot of fun. You can find her and all of her work at Thrive with, spelled out, Thrive with Kira, KIRA.com. Would encourage you to go there. Terry Barr, watching on YouTube, says Kira is a mental health rock star. 100%. Thanks. I appreciate that, Terry. I totally agree. Kira joining us via StreamYard. Kira, we left off before Pam Yonke, and you said, look, remember this. Even in the hardest seasons, there's always plenty of good, whether we personally see it or not. And if you look back at history, Kira, whether we might not feel like it or not, things have been worse.
Things have been way worse.
As it
I don't
turns
know.
out.
I don't know about you, Todd, but I actually was never really a history person. You know, my mom was a teacher. She loves going to museums and touring all of the houses and architecture, but I was never into history. But something happened in 2020. Just a sidestep here. Clearly COVID. And all of a sudden I had a lot more time on my hands because my husband, Danny, was home. And so we just got really sucked into the American Experience on PBS, which are these like mini documentaries that just talk about what happened in America and how. And we started watching a lot of them. And it was a wake-up call to me because it was that moment to go, oh, this thing that I think is only happening right now, that's happened before. Yeah. Many times, right? The very things that sometimes we're fighting for right now has happened before many times. And, you know, the fact that we have indoor plumbing and live past 40 is a gift that 100 years ago our you know, great grandparents didn't even have. So, I mean, there is a point where we have to see where our focus is. We have so many conveniences and beautiful things on our day, but it is amazing how what we focus on is what we'll get. And yeah, so I was just telling you guys in that whatever, and this is pretty nerdy because I listened to a podcast about it years ago, but that they talk about the worst year in history that they can, you know,
the
could
worst
find
year ever. All right.
In the world. And it's year 536. And there was a
AD.
volcano. AD. Yes. Yeah. Sorry. There was a huge volcano eruption, possibly from Iceland, right? So it created a full like volcanic winter, and they didn't have sun for 18 months. There was no sun around the world for 18 months. There was an extreme cold because there was no sun. So coldest decade in 2,300 years. They had total famine and hardship because, of course, they can't grow anything when there's no sun. There was a huge spread of disease. And basically societal collapse besides it. So this looks pretty good compared to year 536. No, I mean, that's obviously an extreme example. But if we do look back in history, we see the patterns and we see the repetitions and we see the push and pull. And I think that even in a time where we are being pulled back, we will always progress forward. We
Yeah,
will always have new things and great things and hope. And in, there's always been cycles of struggle, of fear, of hate, of greed, of prejudice, of injustice. That's always happened. It's probably always going to be happening. I wish I could say that that wasn't, but there's always been cycles of resilience, creativity, progress, and love.
Yeah.
These things are always happening. And
I
that's
think
what makes life beautiful.
I think that, again, we might say, well, yeah, I know that, but we need the reminders of people like you to say, just pump the brakes here, buddy, because we're not necessarily going off of a cliff, although there are bad things in the world. But I love the earlier point that when we're celebrating a birthday or an anniversary, whatever it might be, and we think this is the best day of my life. Somebody in another part of the state, another part of the country, of the world is literally having the worst day of their life, and they think the world is going to hell. It can't get any worse than this, and that all
Absolutely.
coexist together. And you point out here that every generation is also created beauty, joy, community, right in the middle of all those storms.
Absolutely. And we're not meant to take it all on. And where we are not helping ourselves is our 24-hour news stations, social media, where we see people who we love and have been friends with for maybe years, like saying things that we don't agree with. This is different than we've ever had. And I do want to remind everybody, we have the option to turn it off. We have the option to look away. I am on my favorite social media is Instagram, and I can promise you it is all animals, particularly
Nice.
kittens, and happy videos. That's it. That's the only thing that I allow like on my feed. And so it gives me a warm fuzzy feeling instead of, oh my God, do I want to wake up tomorrow?
We're
And
talking with Kira Saban, positive psychology midlife coach. You can find her at thrivewithkira.com. Go ahead, Kira. And just for folks that we're kind of turning the corner now into, and this is another great part of this. We do have control over some of this stuff that we take. Well, you got control over a lot of it, but we're getting into what we can do to make ourselves feel better health wise. Go ahead.
yeah, I'd love to talk for a second about the happiness set point. I wasn't even going to bring this up, but I think it's really appropriate here. So, about 20 years ago, they started doing work about what makes us happy, right? That's what positive psychology is. It's basically like, what's the science of making us happy?
Hmm.
And only 10% of our happiness comes from external things: money, our career, our relationships, politics, our world. Only 10% of our happiness comes from
Wow.
that.
Mhm.
The rest of it comes from where we put our time, where we put our focus, who we spend our time with, right?
Yep. Yep.
And if we're doing things that light us up and feel good.
Right.
We're
And
not-
just to be very personal for a second, I won't want to go deep into it because we've mentioned it before. But there was a period in my life where I was very depressed and very down, and things were not good. And Kira took time to talk with me, and she's like, "Why you give me all these reasons that you're making up to put yourself in this position? Why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you putting yourself in a position where you're hanging out with someone who is making you feel like crap?" And that was a difficult moment, but a light bulb moment, and it changed a lot of where I was at in that point in my life.
I think that virtually everybody listening on a Tuesday afternoon is probably an adult, and we can feel very tied to family. We can feel very tied to our commitments, but we do have the power at the end of the day to say, if something doesn't feel good, we can speak up about it. We can walk away from it. We can talk about it with someone. Like, it doesn't have to stay this way. And the biggest things that let me tell you, like, I have to keep my eye on, not a ton of politics, or I won't even want to get out of bed, right? Like, it's not like I don't feel it too.
Mhm.
But it is amazing how when I spend my time with people I love, putting my time and energy in things that I love, that I value, that I think are important, not much has really changed.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing is that I think that when we are concerned and worried about rights being taken away, volunteer. Find the organizations that you care about. If you are worried about LGBTQIA plus rights, go volunteer at that organization. See if there's something that you can do to help. Put some money, put some time in, right? People might be losing their funding. That's okay. We can help fund, right? People cannot take away our joy. They cannot take away our hope. And the minute they do, then they have really won.
Clip that. We're using that right there because you nailed it. You nailed it, Kira, as you do. It's easy to feel terrible when you say, oh, look at the what? Oh, look at that. Oh. But when you get off your butt, I'm looking at myself, and go out and volunteer. If you're doing something, it might be small in the large scope of things, but when you do something, you know you're moving the cause forward, and that's great for our mental health.
Absolutely. And so those organizations or those groups that you're worried about, find time and help them. And there's so many ways to do that, right? If you don't have the time, you might have the finances. If you don't have the finances, you might have the time or the energy or can donate things. Like there are 1,000 things that we can do. And what happened is we got a little lazy about it and we just kind of hoped that everybody else was going to take care of the stuff.
Yeah.
And right now we have a wake-up call to say, we're going to have to get back in there. We're going to have to get back in and help those in need. We're going to have to get back in and make the world a better place if we have people who are not wanting to do that for us. We have that ability all day.
Talking to Kira Saban, positive psychology midlife coach. You can find her work at thrivewithkira.com. Back into this great Insta post over the weekend, Kira. You talk about and what we can take on, what we can control is how we respond to the part of life that touches us. And I think this is so important. Get about 2 minutes, by the way, before our next break. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I think it's just so important for us to realize that what's actually happening to us, what we can control, that's where our power is, right? Right now, you and I, Todd, probably are not making a huge impact on national or global politics, right?
Agreed.
But I can certainly volunteer and make somebody's day better. I can sit down and have a conversation with a stranger that might light up their day and make, we have no idea what's going on, but I can promise us scrolling or fighting on social media isn't going to save the world. It's not even going to change minds because we really can't change people out of their values. We can't change it out of their fears. And that's what's going on here. So what we can do is put our time and our energy into what we believe in, what we think. We put our money there too, right? Find the organizations, find the companies that go along with what you value, put money in them. That's how we make change.
Well, I'll read a couple of these going on the way out to the break. I'm going to have to buy Danny and Kira an extra drink at Harvey House because I'm going to ask her to come back after this. But she asks these important questions. Do we give into fear or do we cultivate hope? Do we spread hate or practice compassion? Stay divided or reach for connection? Shut down or stay present? Close our hearts or open them wider? React with anger or respond with curiosity and questions? Disconnect or reach out? Build walls or build bridges? That's healthy stuff, you guys. And Kira's going to come back. We're going to discuss it on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Kira Saban, Todd Allbaugh, and you across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network. Such great stuff. Well, I think it's a good point because we'll come back and you'll get right into every single day we have a choice, and then we get into making choices like that. We'll have 6 minutes when we come back, ish, right? 7. You're so amazing. You make me feel happy. I'm serious.
That's good. Thank you. I keep putting it on the wrong thing and then losing my slide. So, okay, great.
We're on every single day. We have a choice. What are you choosing, Todd?
Okay, got it.
Which is a
oh,
good
no.
question.
Oh, no. See, I did it again. Why have I made this so hard for myself?
Cozy up inside for some spirits, 48 beers on tap, and THC drinks. Choose from a wide selection of the warm.
Are you good? Did you have a good summer? How are you doing, Aaron?
Doing,
All right.
Yeah, doing all right. I had a solid summer, nothing too crazy. Spent a lot of time with family, so that's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Duffy, listening to Mount Horeb, says, "Tell me more about these hip kittens."
Did I say hip kittens?
I
I'm
think you
not.
just said
I
kittens.
just he added in hip.
Oh, I love foster kitten accounts. There are so many people who
Foster kitten
volunteer.
accounts. Yeah.
So there are so many people online who volunteer their time. And let me tell you, when you take in a foster kitten, you are feeding them every 2 to 3 hours from a bottle.
Wow.
You are waking up throughout the night. These people are not getting paid
Like a
for
baby.
this. Yes, absolutely. And so they'll take in, kittens that unfortunately were either lost from or left from their mother, or sometimes the mothers are so young that they don't know what to do. And these people foster them and take care of them. And it's the most wonderful, joyous thing to see them grow. And,
Wow. That's
this
super
makes
cool.
me super happy. And I'll tell
Yeah.
you, like, those to me are the heroes, people who are volunteering their time and their energy. Most of them have regular jobs,
Mhm.
and, that's who
And
I think are heroes, people who do this kind of stuff.
yeah. And just I'm reminded of this as you talk, and the post reminded this, like, when you do something for someone else, it just I may not being a little
Nope, there's science behind
judgmental,
it.
or
Oh,
I just think of the people that if you don't get joy out of seeing someone be happy for something that you earnestly did and not expect anything in return, if you don't get joy out of it, then I just think there's something disconnected with you as a human being.
I think
30
that
seconds.
I think it's also a little bit of our unfortunate teaching of being overgiving, but
Mhm.
doing it for people pleasing and for like people to like us versus
There
just
you
for a
go.
good.
All right, coming back. People on the stream got an extra.
Islands in the stream.
Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere.
She may have been a small town girl. I was a small town boy, but for 17 years plus, she's been helping people build more joy, love, connection, self-worth, and purpose in their lives. She is our guest today, Kira Sabin, positive psychology midlife coach, podcaster extraordinaire. You can find all of her work at Thrive with Kira, Kira, thrivewithkira.com. Mental Health Awareness Month here, and talking about the world seems like it's on fire right now, if you watch the news. But there's so many things that we can do to change our psyche, Kira. And you write in this great post on Insta this week, I want to pick up there with the time we have left. You write, every single day we have a choice. What are you choosing? Great question.
We cannot. Yes. What are we choosing? Because we do. We choose who we spend time with. We choose where we put our energy and our thoughts even, right? And our minds. We get to decide. We can't control all of these huge things, but we can control our life, the people around us, and we can make an impact that can ripple out and truly change the world. I don't come on here every day like you do, Todd, and amazingly inspire people through conversations around politics and what's going on in the world. I do it by working with people one-on-one or in small ways in hopes that as they heal, it'll ripple out. But I even just think our own self-work and our own work that we're doing, with our family or around us, those are what make huge impacts. That's how we change the world.
100%. You're right. Positive. You write in your post, positive psychology reminds us we can't stop horrible things from happening, but we can shape our response and create purpose, connection, love, and resilience in the process. And when we choose differently, we don't just change our lives, we ripple it forward for our children, our communities, and our future. And that's what's exciting, Kira, is that when you do something for someone else, you have a good effect on somebody else, it generally makes us feel better about ourselves, does it not?
Absolutely. I don't have I like to have little like percentages, and I don't have it off the top of my head, but there is science behind when we do like just a random act of kindness. Not only are we making somebody else's day better, it also kind of comes back to us. So both people win, not just one. And the more and more that we do that, the more and more like we make a positive impact. I think that what's happening right now is we see a lot of fear. We see a lot of unknowns and a lot of people just scared. And that's its own, I mean, that's why it's called terrorism, right? Like that's its own thing. It's to make
Yeah.
people scared because then they'll do what you want them to do. Well, I'm not going to be scared. I'm going to go after joy. I'm going to go after community. I'm going to go after connection. I'm going to do the things in this amazing state that we call home that we have been doing for years, and our grandparents and our great grandparents and everything else, helping farmers take care of each other, right? You and I both grew up in a small town. My grandmother had a farm that I would help with on the weekends. You know, this is the way it's always been. And we've just lost our way a little bit. And we stopped seeing the way that we connect and started seeing what divides us.
And it isn't part of that because of our intake predominantly on the internet, but also television and radio news, newspapers, that what gets clicked, what advertisers want to advertise around too often is the negative. That's what sells, as they say. And you know, I firmly believe, because I've traveled the state, that there is also an appetite for, again, not Pollyannish, the world is what rose-colored glasses, but just talk about there are good things happening in each of our communities across this state.
I mean, we have fried cheese curds, people. This is our gift to the world. Have you
Right?
any life cannot be horrible when there is fried cheese curds. I'm sorry for those who are not are dairy sensitive. But you know, we are so lucky to live in such a great time. As a woman, I see that I have rights that my mom didn't have, that my grandmother didn't have. And although those rights are being threatened right now, I still have them. And I'm going to use them for good. And I guess I just want to I wanted to come on, you know, Todd, and just say that as people are listening and it gets really easy to get just down in the muck during these times, what can you do for good? What do you have control over? Where are you putting your time? Right? Because if it's online and you go to bed feeling awful every day, or waking up at 3 a.m. with your mind spinning about what terrible thing you're going to read tomorrow, step back. I promise the world's going to keep on going, whether you're reading it 5 times a day or more, right? It's going to keep on moving.
Kira writes, because every day all around this world, wonderful and horrible things will always happen. They have always existed, and they will probably always exist. What we can change is us. Every day we have a choice. Choose kindness. Choose connection, choose love, choose joy. Kira, I can't think of a better advice than that.
I just think that that's where our happiness is. I think that that's what they have now scientifically proven makes us feel good. And if the world is not going to give us that, then we have to look for ways to find it, to find that joy in our day, to find that community and connection. And I think that's how we heal the world. And I think that that's how we even politically change things in the future.
I gotta clean it up for radio, but Kira reminds us on her post, stop the ridiculousness. Let's live like we freaking mean it. That's so good. Let's live. Let's grasp it all, right, Kira?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I luckily grew up during the time of Dead Poet Society, you know, Nuwanda, I think, or you know, right? Carpe Diem. This is all we get.
Seize the day.
Where are you putting your time? Where are you putting
Kira
your
Saban,
time, everybody?
You can find all of her work at thrivewithkira.com. Look her up. She's a fantastic person, great professional, can help you out. Thanks, Kira. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Todd.
Stay tuned. Hour number 2 is straight ahead. What's worse? And also, don't stop believing, because Pete Schwab is in hour 2 as well.
Oh,
That
Todd,
was
I
so much
cannot
fun.
wait for Harvey House.
Yes,
It's going to be
let's
so
do it.
Yeah,
fun.
the reason I was there is because one of my roommates' aunt is a realtor in Seattle, and as you might expect, some hefty commissions on that. And so when she visited, she took us all out to Harvey House. It was very good. I had the
Nice.
superior walleye.
Oh.
I've heard that's very good.
It was very good.
All right.
I've heard it's very good.
Yeah.
We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll plan. I'll text you. I don't want to do
We
it
can
over
go
the
to
stream, but-
Panera. That's fine.
No,
Don't worry
no,
about
we're,
it.
We're going to Harvey House. Jeff says, great segment. Thanks, Kira and Todd. Chris in Janesville, listening on WMDX, says, this is all absolutely true. I stopped reading news at work and I have increased my sales.
Nice.
How about that?
I mean, I believe all
Also-
of that's to be true. All of my clients are basically off social media. I can't even be off social media, but they are because they're like,
Right.
I just feel better.
Yeah.
So,
There are days-
all right, guys.
I wish I could be on off social media, but
I
I
use
can't.
Instagram very
So do
similar to
I.
you, except
So
instead
do
of
I.
kittens, mine is videos of frogs and lizards.
I love that.
Ah, nice.
So, Aaron, I'm at Kira Saban and I do a Fluffy Friday where I share all kinds of animals, like fun and funny. Yeah. So I do What's Good Wednesday, and then I
Fluffy
share.
Friday?
Yeah. So What's
That's
Good Wednesday, which is just all good news, right? And good videos and things that make you laugh or smile. Then Fluffy Friday, and then Sunday Fun Day, and where I share funny memes.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And then
I love
Thought
that.
Provoking Thursday, which is just quotes that'll make you think.
Ooh. You're a
Oh,
So,
see, I
all right,
opened it up
I'm gonna
and
let
right
you go,
here we got
guys.
Thank you. Take care. Have a
Someone
great
with a
nice.
lizard.
I love it.
Anyway.
That's a
All right.
chameleon, actually,
Have a
Aaron.
great day. Appreciate
I'll
you. Love you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
We'll have results in tomorrow's newscast. Meanwhile,
Oh,
a
that's
bill that would
fantastic.
require state employees return to the
Uh,
office instead of working
Let's do some of
remotely
this
has passed the
the
state
Jim
assembly.
Nance stuff when we
Joanne
come back
Kulas
here.
reports.
We'll do Jim Nance and then we'll do what's
Pleasant
worse.
Prairie Republican
All right.
Amanda
I have
Ned
now
Westfeet
followed
says
Kira
it
Saban.
simply does
Fantastic.
what Democratic Governor Tony Evers should have required, and that the administration has failed to provide sufficient oversight of state employees who began to work remotely during the COVID pandemic. The measure will need to pass the state Senate before going to Evers, who would likely veto it.
And a local Madison music legend has died. Herb Frank was the co-founder of Frank Productions, now FPC Live.
Herb Frank
He and his
died.
wife
Wow.
Sylvia
Yeah,
moved to
I had
Madison
that
in the
yesterday, but we
60s. The
just
State Journal
didn't have
reports they
time.
were only supposed
I
to be
missed
here
that somehow.
temporarily, and then they would head out to California, but they fell in love with Madison and they stayed. They started Frank Productions in 1965, and under their leadership, Madison scored huge music acts. His late wife, Sylvia, is the namesake for the Sylvie, which has quickly become one of the top 25 music venues of its size in the nation. The State Journal
This
reports
stupid
Frank's
mic
son
stand
says his
pissing
dad
me
had
off.
Alzheimer's for the last 5 years. Herb Frank
Poor
was
Zommers.
91 years old. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
Brewers baseball tonight. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Brewers open a 3-game series tonight against the Los Angeles Angels at American Family Field. Milwaukee with a 5-game lead over the Cubs in the NL Central. The Angels are in last place in the American League West, 13 games behind the Mariners. NFL, Matt LaFleur says the Packers' 10 penalties last Thursday night were far too many.
We went into the game, we knew that the penalties were going to be a big part of the game, and we had far too many. So obviously the first drive, it negated a touchdown, and then we had pre-snap penalties. You don't want any of those. We had a couple pre-snap penalties. We had a couple penalties on special teams that really played a big impact on field position.
The Packers play the Browns in Cleveland on Sunday. The Minnesota Vikings will be without their quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, the next 2 to 4 weeks. McCarthy suffering a high ankle sprain during their loss to the Falcons on Sunday night. Carson Wentz will take over at quarterback. With Sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
92.7 WMDX, Madison's real news and great conversation, and home to the Todd Allbaugh Show, Monday through Friday from 2 to 4. That's us.
Sunny and summery today with high spike into the mid.
Wait, sunny and summery.
I wasn't listening.
Wednesday as well.
What was that?
Thursday.
Did it say
little
WMDX?
change.
Yeah.
And for
Okay, good.
Friday, more clouds out there and
I
chances
just
for showers and
wanted to make sure it didn't
say the
thunderstorms.
wrong
Wet
station.
weekend,
Yes,
a
there's
windy
not.
one,
Because we've had some
and
other
slightly
stuff
cooler,
playing.
too.
Oh, okay.
I'm meteorologist Brittany
know.
Merlot, currently 82 degrees.
This is Robert Pilot, host of Native Roots Radio. On our show, we talk about Native issues like treaties, protecting Mother Earth, and holding our elected officials accountable. You'll also hear from Turtle Island voices like Arvina Martin, State Representative Heather Keeler, Ruth Anna Buffalo, Dr. Anthony Stately, State Senator Mary Kunish, Robert Lilligren, and Bob Blake. Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Native Roots Radio, weeknights at 8 on your local civic media radio station.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic
Remember,
particles
kids,
into
don't
your
vape.
lungs.
And dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing
All right, got
flavors,
about
high
30
nicotine levels,
seconds.
All right,
and
thank
lots of
you.
promotion on social media.
From the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. Todd Allbaugh, along with Mr. Aaron Zommers on the board. It is 6 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. Welcome into hour number 2 of the big program on this Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. Glad to have you along for hour 2. Let's take another look, Zommers, at for those watching on the stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twix, whatever, X. Another beautiful day in downtown Madison as we look at the old Sam Davidson street cam. Leaves just a tinge of yellow at the tops of some of those trees there. Sun is out. Can get out and touch grass, as the kids say. Very good. Many thanks to Kira Sabin, positive psychology midlife coach, for being our guest last hour. You can find all of her work again at Thrive with Kira. ThriveWithKira.com. Some really great reminders, Zommers, that we do have power to control our reaction to life events, to world events, and it's normal to get down, but a little bit of that, maybe a little more than a little, is up to us to how we react and go forward with it.
And also, one thing that I think that I really appreciate about Kira is that those are things we need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see that kind of message still feeling discouraging coming from somebody else, but from her, it feels empowering. As opposed to being like, oh, here's another thing you have to do in order to feel okay. It's like, no, you get to do this. You can be in control of this.
Because she said before, like, it's okay to not be okay.
Right.
And we all get there. We all go through those times. But I think what she put out there today, and check out this, everything we went through today was on her Instagram post, Kira Sabin. So ThriveWithKira.com or Kira Sabin, Sabin. Check it out. Really great stuff. At the bottom of this hour, we are going to be joined by our colleague, the host of Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, the one, the only, Pete Schwabinator, is going to be here. And looking forward to a great discussion. Sad news this morning. Great actor, director, Robert Redford passed away this morning at the age of 81, was it?
I thought it was 89.
89, sorry. Yes, 89. 89 years old. So we're going to be talking about the life and times of Robert Redford a little bit later on in this hour. And what's worse is straight ahead as that as well. I want to go here. And I had this queued up last week, and then we didn't do it for obvious reasons, the news of the day. And I think it's great to follow up what Kira talked with us about last hour, that we have choices. And this might come from an unlikely place, but hope you continue to listen. This is from Awful Announcing. It's a great website, by the way, deals with broadcasting and not just radio, but all broadcasting. But it's also like things that appear on television. And they did a great interview. And Zomers, maybe you can help me if it's on the clip where exactly this is from and who's interviewing Jim Nance. Is it a podcast?
Yeah, it's Jimmy Traina.
Thank you.
And it is Sci Media or SI Media.
Yep,
I'm sorry,
SI.
I'm not familiar
like
with
Sports
it. So.
Illustrated. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. It's Jimmy who again?
Jimmy Traina, Traina, interviewing Jim Nance.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, make sure we get the attribution in there. And we're going to pick it up and Jimmy Traina is going to set this up. And he's talking to Jim Nance, who celebrates his 40th year in broadcasting, one of the great play-by-play announcers of all time, in my opinion, at CBS. And talking with Jim Nance about what's changed in this industry. And he gets into, do we really all need a hot take? And I think it's just a good reminder from a sports point of view that when things happen in our lives in the world, we don't always need to rush to our cell phones, our smart devices, and do a hot take. Here is Jimmy Traina talking with the sports broadcasting legend, Jim Nance.
I want to get your take on something I read recently, and then I'm going to end with a ridiculous question. I want to get your take on this because I saw this. This comes from John Oran's newsletter. He spoke to Tirico. And Tirico had an interesting comment about basically kids. I don't know if kids is the right word, but younger people today don't really aspire to be play-by-play people. They're looking more at the hot take stuff. I'll read you what Tirico's quote is here. Again, this is in John Oran's newsletter on Puck. I do notice when I go back to school now, you find more of the students who are interested in being hosts and opinion makers and less who are interested in being play-by-play announcers. The celebrity factor becomes the magnet, and the idea of coming through the ranks is not there as often as it once was, at least in some of the students I see. What has been your experience with that? You think Mike's onto something there? Have you, do you get a lot of?
I think he's got an accurate read on it, Jimmy. I really do think that it speaks to the power of social media, hot takes, creating conversation, and they think that's the business, and they think that's what they want to get into. I'm sure that Mike also gets a tremendous amount of mail and inquiries from kids that are in high school or in college. I'm fielded all the time.
Yep.
And it's one of the honors of my life because I used to be one of those kids that was writing letters in my time. But most of them, when I try to distill what it is they want to do, I say most of them, not all of them, but I would say it's over 50%. They want to be famous.
Right.
They want to be on TV. They want people to hear them. And I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm sure Mike's wired the exact same way. That was never the hook. It was the story and the ability to be a storyteller that was the draw. It had nothing to do with trying to get your face out there, your name out there, or say something profound. It's just different. It speaks to the way we work today. Everybody's got a hot take on everything. And, it's okay not to have a hot take on everything. People feel like they're incomplete if they're not able to converse and have something really sharp and edgy to say.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that way. But I do think business is losing out on having a reservoir of play-by-play guys because everybody is drawn to the idea of being on camera.
Right. And that's fascinating.
Jim Nance on SI, Sports Illustrated, and talking to Jimmy Traina there on that podcast. And he just nailed it, in my opinion. If you're watching on the stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, Twix, right behind me is my name, literally in lights, or at least a screen that's lit up. The Todd Allbaugh Show. This is why I'm bad at self-promotion. Because, I don't care that much about promoting myself. I love having this show every day. It's a huge honor and responsibility because of what Jim Nance just said. And Zomers, correct me on the air if I'm wrong. Have I not told you that the best shows are when I say the least, in my opinion?
I mean, yeah, that. There have been a few things you've said that make the best shows. And that is one of them. When you have people who know what they're talking about and you let them get on a roll and share a story and tell a story, that's one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I loved having people like Kira Saban on. That's why I love that Pete Schwab is going to be on. I like being the traffic cop, so to speak. That you give them the wave and the green light. Come on, let's okay, and then a yield. We're getting close to the break, and got to stop here. And then we go. I love the storytelling part, like Jim Nance said. I mean, sure, of course. I mean, it's fun to come on and give your opinion, but that's not what drives me.
Right.
That's what.
Either,
That's what,
yeah.
and you either. And that's not. It's the opportunity to help tell other people's stories. And with that, in my opinion, is a huge responsibility, right? To get it right. And I realize this from a sports angle, Jim Nance being longtime play-by-play guy. But I think it's applicable to everything else. That so many, particularly, I'll say it, young people, they want to be famous. And there, unfortunately, in my opinion, have been people who have made a lot of money. Think of the Kardashians. They're famous for being famous. I'm not sure they have any other real talent. And so it's like being an NFL player, right? It's less than 1% will end up there making a living. But everybody, not everybody, but a lot of young athletes, I want to be in the NFL. Brady Ewing and I talked about that last weekend, going to the Brewers game together, when he talks to kids in schools. And he tries his best to say, I'm very thankful that I had the opportunity to play in the National Football League. But here's what else that you don't know about me that I'm equally or more proud of. To be a husband, to be a dad, to be a friend, to work in my community. And it's a great reminder what Nance just said there to me. And I hope the rest of you find it helpful. That we don't all need to rush out and have a hot take on everything. Getting the most clicks, the most likes, having your voice out there. Sometimes you're better served, as my great math teacher Andy Spees likes to say, pause and reflect. Pause and reflect. 17 now, past the hour of 3 o'clock. Time once again for What's Worse. Let's go.
This or that, this or that. Then, of course, the choice is yours. You can get with this or you can get with that.
Time once again for What's Worse. Nothing to give away, no prize money involved, but it is your chance to have your voice heard across all 10 news talk sports stations of the Civic Media Radio Network. All right, this is good because I've said this earlier this year. I broke down and bought a subscription to FanDuel because I wanted to watch the last 2.5 months of them. And I'm not sorry I did, by the way. I listened to some of the games on the Milwaukee Brewers Radio Network on some of our fine affiliates, but I also like to watch it. So timely indeed. The category today, what's worse, subscriptions or purchase? Subscription or purchase? 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. The example, maybe my FanDuel one wasn't a great example, but
that's only a subscription.
That's only a subscription. But the example is, for those that still use Microsoft, you can purchase Microsoft 365, a software program that has like Word in it and Excel and whatever. Or you can subscribe. Or you can be an idiot like Todd and do both.
Oof.
I purchased a long time ago, and then it's like when I got my new computer a couple years ago, it's like, oh, it's run out, but you can do a subscription, and so I'm like, fine.
Oh, well, then I thought you meant you did both simultaneously.
No,
like you
not
bought it and then also
simultaneously.
subscribed.
But I feel like I didn't have to subscribe it because I purchased, I don't know. I can't figure any of those things out.
Well, eventually, they only come with so many updates when you buy it.
Thank you for defending me.
No, that makes perfect sense.
What's worse, subscription or purchase? 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. PJ, watching on YouTube, says subscriptions are worse because in the long run, it's more expensive. Thank you, PJ. Appreciate that. That can be very true, right? It's like financing something. But you might not be able to afford the big thing all up front. So if you want it now, It's cheaper to subscribe, but you're going to pay more money over the long term. Subscription or purchase? What's worse? 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842, or text us on the Civic Media app, or hit us up on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. We'll come back, answer those questions and more on the other side. It's the Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
And the vibes are chill.
Well, Arda, thank you very much.
Trump's
It's very
big
kind of
bill
you to
and
say.
taxes on tips and overtime? No.
I try.
President
Don't
Donald
always
Trump's
succeed, but I
new
sure
law
try.
exempts certain tip and overtime income from federal tax. But the deductions expire in 2028 and come with limits. Workers earning under $150,000 can deduct up to $25,000 in tips and $12,500 in overtime. Social Security, Medicare, and state taxes still apply. The Tax Policy Center says 2% of households will benefit from the tip provision, saving $1,800. The White House estimates $1,400 in average annual savings from the overtime deduction. I'm Trisha Young for Wisconsin Watch. Fact Briefs are bite-sized fact checks of trending claims produced by Wisconsin Watch and GigaFact. Read more at wisconsinwatch.org.
Lace up your sneakers, Wisconsin. The Walk to End Alzheimer's is coming to Madison on October 5th. Walk with WMDX in honor of someone you love and help us move closer to a cure. Registration is free and easy. Start or join a team today at alz.org/walk.
Hi, my name is Chuck Collins. I'm the great-grandson of the meatpacker Oscar Mayer and a member of the Patriotic Millionaires. I'm also the author of a new book, Burned by Billionaires: How Concentrated Wealth and Power Are Ruining Our Lives and Planet. This summer proved to all of us that climate change is real and it is deadly. And I'm here to tell you that a small group of billionaires are making it worse. Did you know that billionaire Jeff Bezos' wife, Lauren Sanchez, emitted more carbon in her 11-minute Blue Origin space flight than the average person emits in a lifetime? Did you know that the average super yacht produces as much carbon emissions as 1,500 regular vehicles? And that
30
private
seconds.
jets emit
Thank you.
10
By
to
the way,
20
I
times
found
more
my
pollutants per
cassette tape
passenger
of
than
Rich Little's The First
commercial
Family Rides Again, and our work with Zombers will digitize it and we'll play some of it.
Yeah, I bet we can figure that out.
Yeah.
I wanna see you peacock. You peacock. You peacock. You peacock. I wanna see you peacock.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. 22 past the hour of 3 o'clock. Zombers has dialed up little Katy Perry because, yes, last year, in order to watch some of my Wisconsin Badger basketball games, I was forced. Now, Mom would say, did anybody really force you? Well, yes. If I wanted to watch them, I was forced to subscribe to Peacock, the streaming service of NBC. By the way, a nice note. Thank you very much, Ardith, who is watching on Facebook. Ardith, I was talking earlier about, we come on, we try to tell stories of our guests. It's not about me, it's about our guests. Ardith says, watching on Facebook, says, I think you bend over backwards to compliment and give promotion to all of your guests. It's one of the reasons I listen and watch your programs. Please don't change. Well, thank you, Ardith. That's very kind. I had good teachers, good parents, good grandparents. Tried to impart upon me to be respectful to others and lift others up. So I don't always meet that, but if I do, it's because of them. So thanks, Ardith. What's worse? Question this day: subscription or purchase? Subscription or purchase? What's worse? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Let's go quickly to Kurt in Madison on WMDX. Kurt, subscription or purchase? What's worse?
Well, I'm going to have to say subscription, and I'll qualify it like this. I'm sure everybody experienced what I'm going to talk about, and that is you find something you want to try and use, sign up for it.
Yep.
And by default, you're subscribed. You have to go out of your way to hunt them down,
right?
jump through hurdles and canyons and caves to kill it.
I still am getting things in my email from the Atlanta Falcons when Brady Ewing was drafted by the Falcons. I don't care about the Falcons anymore, but I still get this crap. You're 100% right, Kurt.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much. 855-752-4842. Zommers?
Have you tried to unsubscribe?
I think, yes, before. I don't know. I'm not hitting the right buttons. I'll have to pick your brain.
That's fair. I just wanted to ask because I know I've been like, wow, this is so annoying. I get this every day. And then I went in and unsubscribed, and I was like, wow, I should have done this years ago.
Subscription or purchase? What's worse? Let's go to the phone lines. Jimmy in Madison on MDX. Jimmy, subscription or purchase? What's worse?
I think it depends, but Kurt did hit it on the nail. But okay, so I come from the days where back in the day I was a web designer.
Mm-hmm.
I kept all of my stuff on hard drives.
All right.
If I lost those hard drives, I lost a lot of my product if I didn't have it backed up. But what happens with a lot of people is they have this huge collection of personal music.
Right.
They have it on a hard drive.
Yes.
And then it gets killed. So what I'm saying is for instance, I'm an iTunes subscriber.
Yep.
I think it's cool to let them store my music, and I'll pay them to store my music and keep it safe. That's the way I have to look at it to justify.
But you don't own it.
I don't own it, but I can download it anytime.
And I'm in the same boat. I'm not criticizing, by the way, because I'm in the same exact position. I'm in the same position.
They make it extremely difficult sometimes to do that.
Yes.
And when you go to unsubscribe, I hate it when they say, okay, what is your password?
Oh.
Now I've got to go.
Oh.
I've got to go dig deeper. So
you're speaking my language. You're speaking my. I wish I had more time. Up against the clock. Thanks, Jimmy. We appreciate the listenership of the call. 855-752-4842. Dolores, listening in Madison on WMDX. Dolores, subscription or purchase? What's worse?
I say subscriptions, because you forget when you have it, and then you keep paying and paying and overpaying. Especially those gym subscriptions, you pay, you go the first month, 2 months, and then you keep paying. Right. Anyways, but I wanted to tell you, Todd, also about Spectrum. They have a lot of, you can have access to Peacock for free through the Spectrum app.
Really?
The Spectrum services. Yes, you have a Spectrum. You have access to Disney, Paramount, Hulu,
Dolores,
all the 9 yards.
We don't have time right now. If you're a new listener to the show, I am at war with Spectrum. It's going on 2 years. Oh. And if you could help me end my war, I would love it. I don't have time, but through no fault of my own, in my opinion, I can't get out. It's a dreadful cycle, but thank you for the call. A call back, or if you work for them, let me know because I would love some help. And I want a detente. You understand? I want to end my war with Spectrum. What's worse? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. What's worse? Subscription or purchase? Mike, a brand new listener in Madison on MDX, says neither when it comes to adult websites. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Len in Madison says, I believe subscriptions are worse. Subscriptions usually will have quote-unquote strings attached, many of which you may not even be aware of.
Yeah, along that note, on YouTube, Cam and Appleton says, for higher purchases of electronics, they're writing into the user agreements that they can shut off your device because you don't truly own it anymore. Well, yeah, I know Tesla and some other electronic cars were doing like, if you want your seat heaters, you can pay a monthly subscription. Otherwise, we just won't let you use it, even though it's in your car.
Brett in Brown Deer on AUK says, I like a purchase better because I'm done paying after a purchase, and subscriptions are worse when they become a hassle to cancel them. Megan in Sun Prairie, subscriptions are awful. Not everything needs to be a dang subscription. They're easy to lose track of, and people end up losing money, more money than if they just buy the thing outright. Matt in Middleton says, I think the subscriptions are worse. It's like insurance, as they will always get more money out of the deal than the worth of the product, like PJ said. How about that? Also, our friend Jeff Perry says subscriptions are worse. I hate them. I avoid subscriptions if at all possible. Often, if subscription is the only option available, I will forego the transaction altogether. Zommers, what's worse?
Jeff's not alone on that one. I mean, yeah, I think We don't have time to get into it. There are reasons where subscriptions can work, but nowadays everything is a subscription. It's getting ridiculous, and it costs so much money for stuff that's generally a worse product.
I think subscriptions are worse. This is a good time to remind you, subscribe to the Civic Media newsletter.
That's free.
We would love to have you do that. Stick around. We're going to talk about the life and times of Robert Redford with our friend Pete Schwaba of Nightlight on the other side. Farm News is next. It's the Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Come on, baby, let me see what you hiding underneath.
MDX Madison.
What an amazing song.
I can't deny that. I cannot deny that.
92.7
I didn't eat much. I had a piece of toast. Here's what, for those watching on the stream, here's what happened today. I got up, listened to a little Pat Kreitlow, watched a little CBS this morning, and I had to do my bi-weekly appearance on Matt on Air with Jane and Greg and Kelvin. Jane's back, by the way, from her world tour. She took the show around the world. It was fantastic. She earned a lot of money, and very happy for her. She's back now.
At least one of those things is true.
She's back now. I was on the show, and I thought, well, I thought I'm going to go into the office and do the show in the studio today. And then I looked, it was like right on the line. I got to go right now, and I can't hit any traffic, or I could just stay here in my apartment and do it. And so I thought, nah, I got it. This is live radio. I got to stay home and do it. So I stayed home, and then it got done, and I had some other things to do for the show. And so I never really ate a proper breakfast and no lunch. So I have one of my favorites. Nutter Butter Bites.
Nutter Butters are very good.
Because in my mind, I think to myself, well, there's peanut butter, and that equals protein, and that equals health.
It's a cookie.
Don't tell me that. I apologize for eating in front of everybody.
Don't touch that dial. You are tuned into Whipple's Country WYFF.
There he is, the one, the only, the Hollywood insider, Pete Schwaba.
I'm so in, I'm out.
Sounds
How are you
like
guys
me
doing?
at 38. I'm doing well. How about you?
Pretty good. Yeah.
Good.
Just,
Well, thank you for doing this.
My
Are you
pleasure.
on vacation, by the way?
Anytime. What's that?
Are you on vacation this week?
No, I had Friday off because of Idea Fest.
Got it.
And
So
then
I heard Conrad do the promo for yesterday or whatever. I thought maybe Pete was off. I'm here bothering him on his vacation.
No, not at all. He just did the promo on Friday because I wasn't there. So.
All right. Well, fantastic. That's fantastic. Very good.
How you been?
I'm doing great. Thank you. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Gorgeous.
A little sad sad, but also reflective about Robert Redford.
I mean, oh shit. Hold on. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't know if you heard that. He is.
We're not over the air yet. So
I know,
you
but
can
still.
say anything you want. It's
He,
Pete Schwaba with no filter, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, you don't want that, believe me.
That's fantastic.
How's it going at headquarters?
We're here. It's things are quiet. I can tell you that people are working at their desks, period.
Okay. That's a win.
Well, back in the day when I worked for Scott Klug, and I was kind of second in command at the office, and then you had my friend Sam, who was chief of staff, and he said, well, if I'm out of the office and Klug calls in, our boss, and he asks, how are things? Your response is, people are quietly working at their desks, period. Period. He goes, not people are quietly working at their desks, and period.
Oh, that's great. Stay as ambiguous as possible. Yeah.
I know. It's fantastic.
Aaron, thanks for getting me those promos. Much appreciated.
Yes, for sure. And I have the 2 clips for Robert Redford stuff.
Okay, those are free at your leisure. If you guys want to play them, they're both good clips. So yeah, anything you guys want to do, I'm ready.
All right, sounds great.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you.
We'll also have to get Pete's take on what's worse for today.
Yes, we will. Absolutely.
What's the question?
What's worse, subscription or purchase? Subscription or purchase?
In regard to
anything. Could be, could be
streaming service or something.
a streaming service, or it could, like, the example
30
was buying Microsoft like Windows,
Oh.
or just do that subscription.
Gotcha. Oh, great. Okay, cool.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. 35 now past the hour of 3 o'clock on Tuesday, September 16th. The iconic song, the theme song there from the great movie The Sting. One of those movies that made Robert Redford an icon. His family, his agent, announced that Robert Redford passed away this morning at the age of 89. The Academy Award-winning actor and director, one of the biggest movie stars to ever grace the screen, and whose startlingly magnetic charisma in films such as Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Way We Were, and The Sting made him the icon that he was. Barbara Streisand, who starred alongside Redford in the 1973 romantic drama The Way We Were, said the Hollywood legend was, quote, one of the finest actors ever, unquote, in a tribute today on social media. Here to talk about the life, the times of Robert Redford, what he meant to the world of entertainment, to movies, the one, the only, the guy that means a lot to us, to me personally here, our entertainment guy. You can hear him every evening on Nightlight from 6 until 8 with Pete Schwaba, joining us via StreamYard, the one, the only Pete Schwaba. Pete, how are you?
I'm well. Is that all I get for the opening, though? Is it? Could you have gone?
We can gin it up a little bit.
I'm well, buddy. How are you? Great to be here.
Well, now that you're here, it's great. I appreciate you doing this on short notice. Obviously, we don't know when these things are going to happen, and I appreciate you being available because I could sit here and read news stories on it and give my personal reflections. But what I love about this is, for those that I can't imagine who, but might not know your background a little bit, share with people a little bit. You're not just a radio host for us, but you've been in entertainment and film industry a long time. Tell people the lens you're looking at this through.
It's interesting, Todd. Like I've been a writer, and I lived in LA for years and sold some movies, and so I see what goes into the process, and it makes me when a guy like Robert Redford dies at 89. I mean, that's a great run, but it is really the end of an era, and every time one of these Hollywood kind of titans passes away, I think, who's next? Who's going to fill those shoes? Ryan Reynolds? No. Maybe Leo DiCaprio. He was just such an old school guy. His private life was pretty private, a lot like Paul Newman. He just made great films, and that's not by accident, because what I just said, like going through the process, and you see how, I had one script that got mucked up. Everyone had good intentions, but they did too much. There were like too many cooks in the kitchen, and to do what Redford did and make all those great films like Paul Newman or even a Tom Cruise, that just shows how smart they are and how savvy they are about the material and what they're choosing. He was a legend,
One of the things I learned today in reading the great CBS, the Sunday morning folks, they just do really great, I think, at covering entertainment, and they have a couple of great pieces out today. I was reading one of them. You probably already knew this. I didn't until I read it this morning. But one of maybe is most popular in terms of just general people, but maybe not. Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid, that the studio did not want to have anything to do with him because he was young and fairly unknown. And in fact, it was Paul Newman, who was 11 years his senior, who had to go to bat for him. And then Redford repaid that later on.
Yeah, that's a great story. I heard that years ago, and I think it's it's a testament to his talent, but I think the studio tends to always give pushback when someone is unproven. and especially if they're willing to spend the money to get someone with a name next to Paul Newman. But yeah, I think at that point he had only done maybe The Way We Were, and that was kind of a romantic drama. So I could see the studio side, but I love when I hear stories about how someone sticks up for someone and says, this guy's got to be the guy. And that more or less kind of launched him onto the scene and started the his long career.
And then later, fast forward a number of years, it was Redford that went to bat to the studio and said, "No, I want Paul Newman in The Sting," because it was almost like, well, maybe he's too old, now, whatever. And
Oh, wow.
and it was Redford that got Paul Newman in The Sting later on. So
I did not know that. That's fascinating. And you know what's
Yeah.
interesting? The Sting is one of my favorite movies. You played
Me
the
too.
music, the Scott Joplin music. I've grew up listening to my grandma and my dad play the entertainer on the piano. It's always been some of my favorite music. And when I saw that movie for the first time, I fell so in love with all elements of movie making, the sets, the acting, the music, the writing. And my one issue with that movie, and it was totally nitpicky, was this handsome blonde guy from the streets of Chicago. I'm like, because Paul Newman you kind of buy, and Henry Gondorf and all these
Right.
great characters, but I don't know, he looked like, and he was born in Santa Monica. He is a California kid. So that to me, I had to kind of suspend my disbelief at 15, but I did because he's such a good actor, and very quickly you forget and you just lose yourself in his performance,
I know you said Zombers a couple of clips here, obviously kind of hard over radio. We're going to still play them. First one is from The Way We Were. You want to set this up?
Yeah, this is Barbara Streisand running out. She's got all these groceries, and it's been years since I've seen the film, but this is an iconic scene where she's telling him why they have to hang out together. And he's in uniform, I think just released from the service. And it kind of speaks for itself, but it's just their quirky, flirtatious ways that are so great on the big screen.
Robert Redford and Barbara Streisand in The Way We Were.
Hi, Bill!
Hey. I wasn't sure when you'd be home. How are you? Look, I don't know when I'll be back. Could you leave a key or...
No, you can. I got steaks and baked potatoes and sour cream and chives and salad and fresh baked pie. I would have made a pot roast. I make a terrific pot roast, but I didn't know whether you ever had pot roast or whether you like pot roast. Anyway, there wasn't time because it should be made the day before. So I got steaks with all my ration stamps. And you must be hungry because, with all the hotel hunting, you couldn't have had time to eat or anything. You can't go yet. You've got to stay for supper. That's all there is to it.
What kind of pie?
Barbara Streisand, Robert Redford, seen from The Way We Were. Redford passed away today at the age of 89. Redford and Streisand, for my money, Pete Schwab, is there a more dynamic couple on the screen?
No, they were great. I didn't really appreciate that movie or Barefoot in the Park or until I got older. That wasn't my type of movie. But then I just kind of fell in love with the pairing. Barbara Streisand is great. And Robert Redford is so natural on camera that, they were a great duo. No question.
Other clip that you sent, the film that maybe made Robert Redford was Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid with Paul Newman, one of his earlier films. There's the scene. Set it up for us, Pete Schwab.
This is the two of them pinned in. They're on the side of a mountain, and they think the jig is up, basically, and they're trying to figure out if they're going to fight or flight, and they don't have many options. They're about 100 feet up on a cliff, and it's just Robert Redford and Paul Newman at their best.
Kid, the next time I say let's go someplace like Bolivia, let's go someplace like Bolivia. Next time. Ready? No, we'll jump. Like hell we will. No, it'll be okay. If the water's deep enough, we don't get squished to death. They'll never follow us. How do you know? Would you make a jump like that and you didn't have to? I have to, and I'm not gonna. Well, we got to, otherwise we're dead. We're just gonna have to go back down the same way they come. Come on. Just one clear shot, that's all I want. Come on. We got to. Nope. Get away from me. Why? I want to fight them. They'll kill us. Maybe. You want to die? Do you? All right. I'll jump first. Nope. Then you jump first. No, I said. What's the matter with you? I can't swim! Why, are you crazy? The fall will probably kill you.
Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid, Paul Newman, and Robert Redford, who passed away at the age of 89, discussing it with Pete Schwab, a host of Nightlight.
Yeah, that's a great scene. And it's so Paul Newman. Like he to me, he's one of my maybe all-time favorite silver screen idols, so to speak. But a great scene and a great movie. I rewatched that about 4 years ago, maybe. And it's kind of funny, Todd. There's a scene in the middle of the movie, and I can't remember the name of the actress, but they play "Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head," and Paul Newman's just riding around on a horse. It's like the only song in the movie. It's so odd, but it works. You know, it's so iconic and cool.
Let's talk a minute about, besides being a great actor, he later became kind of got away more or less from being in front of the camera, although maybe he never left it, but focused much more on his directing side of it. Won an Oscar, correct me if I'm wrong, on as a director, and then got a lot of philanthropic activity, very environmentalist. He and Jane Fonda, of course, one of my favorite films was Electric Horseman because it had Willie Nelson in it, and I just like the story of the whole thing with Jane Fonda. They were great on and off the screen for many years. But he started the Sundance Film Festival, which we used to have a Sundance theater here in Madison. But talk about what he did to help filmmakers who might have never gotten a shot had it not been for Robert Redford.
I mean, the fact that there's probably 15 film festivals just in Wisconsin now in 2025, you can probably thank Robert Redford for. Like he started and it wasn't the first film festival ever, but Sundance became such a destination for movies. And, all these festivals started popping up afterwards. Now it's sort of not even really an independent film festival. It's just a big, they'll screen anything. But yeah, he started that with great intentions, and he started the Sundance Foundation and all this Sundance Institute. He did win an Oscar, like you said, Todd, for Ordinary People for directing. And he also won an honorary Oscar in 2002 for directing, acting, producing, kind of a lifetime achievement thing, but also for the fact that he started the Sundance Institute. So yeah, he was an environmentalist his whole life and an activist. Just, it would have been really interesting to see him as a modern day famous actor with social media, because he seems so above that, as did Paul Newman and all these older stars. And now we know everybody's dirty laundry and where they stand on everything. And I think, you and I are the only ones that don't have sex tapes floating around out there. Like, it's just, it's
I don't either.
Okay. So Robert's disqualified himself there.
It's not too late, Aaron. But, it's just, I really miss that. And maybe it's not fair to judge him against modern day. I joked about Ryan Reynolds, but, he was philanthropic and he was a business guy, but it wasn't like he wasn't hawking every product or his gin and he was a true artist.
That's so well said. And I think, not to get political, but I mean, I think we talked earlier, had Jim Nance on a clip. He was on the SI podcast talking about, if from a sports announcer standpoint, you don't have to have a hot take on everything. Just do your job. And I think that's another lesson from Robert Redford. You don't have to go out there and be in the middle of everything. Do your job and do it well. And that'll be enough.
It's so true. And it's the day-to-day. It's focusing on, like Tony Goldwyn once said, like, he's a Metro Goldwyn, MGM. He's a Goldwyn, Samuel Goldwyn's grandson. And he said that in his family, it was always about your work. It was always about the resume and the library you compiled and work you could be proud of. And it's just about if you keep the focus on the work, you don't have to worry about all that other stuff. Now, I know it's competitive right now, like, kind of what Jim Nance said, you have to keep yourself out there, and that's how people do it. So it would be interesting to see if he would have had a different career under those times, but I'm glad he had the career he had.
Can you come back after the break, Pete?
Yeah, I thought it was a sleepover.
Fantastic.
Am I wrong?
More
Okay.
Pete Schwaba after this. Don't go anywhere. It's the Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. That's good. It'll be Pete and Todd a sleepover tomorrow night on
A slumber
Civic
party.
Media.
Come on.
Yeah.
By the way,
Can you what?
Oh, I'll go after.
Dial up My Heroes Have Always Been Cowboys by Willie Nelson. If you get to the chorus, that is
Great
from
tune.
Electric
Horseman.
Electric Horseman, yeah. Thank you. My heroes have always been cowboys. Still are sadly in search of one step and back of themselves and their slow moving
dreams. I wish I could sing.
Me too.
Man.
I do in the car.
You're better than me. Yeah.
I don't know about
too.
that, but
Every time I sing in the car, it like devalues the car.
what were you going to say, Zommers?
Oh, I was going to play a Nightlight promo that you might not have heard because it only plays at night.
Oh, do we have time? All right, let's hear it. All right, here we go.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. I'm just tired of male nudity. I don't ever need to see an old naked dude again in my life. Yeah. Like in the locker room, you expect to see a certain amount of nudity. Okay. Some of those guys walk around like they're, proud and they're like, yeah, they walk. You should just not do that. You don't really want to make eye contact with anyone because you don't want to give people the wrong impression. You don't know what people are thinking. Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. Weeknights from 6
They
to
made
8.
it, you put that in the night? No, what's wrong with that?
Well,
it's true. Are we getting now like MSNBC and Fox who can't tell the truth?
No, Conrad sent it to me, and he said probably just play it at night. And I was like, you know what? I'll go with your judgment on this.
Because Pete's 100% right. When you're in those
He is.
situations, you just you keep your eyes either straight ahead or down, and you take your towel off, and you put the other whatever you do it quickly and efficiently, and get out into the public area.
In the whole segment, Conrad's like, yeah, and then those old guys, they're like, oh, gotta walk over to the other side of the locker room. Oh, gotta go back.
I do think it's weird. I think I would have no problem playing it. I think Todd always erred on the side of caution. And I'm like,
all right,
for every one person you offend, you might get 5 new listeners,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. In these times, probably better to err on conservatively.
I think it's after the lube promo that they
Which
yelled
was
at us for.
another brilliant promo, by the way.
Yeah, that was great.
Well,
I
I
don't
didn't
think
think
it
it
was
was
too
that
much.
bad.
It's just Dr. Lyerly being sex positive.
I agree. She's a doctor.
Doctor.
The clinical
Well,
discussion.
not to worry. Matt Marinere is about to have a promo featuring Dr. Lyerly where she,
very good.
hints at sex. She doesn't say it, so it's okay.
Hinting
30
at
seconds.
sex. All right, here we go. Join Pete tonight as he hints at sex.
I could do that.
All right, here we go.
And now, a guy who doesn't have sex so much as he hints at it, Pete Schwaba. Anyway, 10
Ain't that
seconds.
the truth?
My heroes have always been cowboys, and they still are, it seems, sadly in search of, and one step in back of themselves and their slow moving dreams.
How about those French horns and flugelhorns in that as well, right?
Gotta love it.
Yeah. Willie Nelson there, the great Willie Nelson. That is a song, My Heroes Have Always Been Cowboys. One of my favorite songs anyway, but that was in the movie The Electric Horseman, starring Robert Redford and Jane Fonda. Robert Redford passing away today at the age of 89. And here to discuss his life and times, once again, the host of Nightlight every evening from 6 until 8, Pete Schwaba. I don't know why, Pete. Maybe I came along. I was still fairly young, but I remember seeing it. I was just enthralled by it. And I like the story that here was this rodeo guy who was taking care of his horse. It was more important to steal this stud horse from a rodeo because it was being shot up with hormones or whatever, and releasing it. $1 million horse or whatever, just put it out and Jane Fonda played, for those who don't know, the reporter who is on his case trying to tell the story. And of course, things happen and fall in love. At one point, my favorite line from that movie, I think, I can't say it verbatim, but he and Jane Fonda have to sleep out in a tent or something like that while they're trying to save this horse. And he gets up in the morning, he's like, oh, and she's like, what's the matter? And he goes, some of my parts of my body wake up sooner than others. I feel like that today.
It's funny. When I was a kid, I saw that movie. I don't think I really understood it. but now, my favorite line from the movie, it wasn't my favorite line, but it kind of made me go, people do that? Like, he was saying what he had for breakfast every day. And she said, what? And he said, steak and eggs. I'm like, what? Like, I was used to Fruity Pebbles. Who has steak and eggs for breakfast? Like, so that was kind of interesting. But and that song, and talk about icons, man. When Willie Nelson goes, that's going to be a bleak day too.
Oh, don't say it. Don't say it. I saw him last year. He was here at Breeze Stevens Field, and it was the second or third time I've seen him. And I mean, he's 91, 92 at least.
91, I think.
And as of last summer, I mean, his fingers were still picking, and he still had the pipes.
Yeah, I was at the show too. Basically, it took him a song to warm up, and then he was great.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was great.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
Pete, let's get this so we don't forget what's coming up on Nightlight tonight from 6 until 8.
Tonight, I'm going to talk about the Dialogues Documentary Festival in Milwaukee. Susan Kearns from Milwaukee Film will join me at 6:35. We'll talk to Susan for a bit. It's a great festival. Milwaukee Film does such an amazing job. It's a great program, a great organization. And then I've got a guy who I've been trying to have on the show for a while. Trapper Shep will be with me, and we're going to play a couple of his songs, and he's going to join me over the stream. And just a great guy. I don't know how familiar you are with his music, but he found a Bob Dylan song that was going on. It was an unfinished song called Wisconsin, and he kind of saw it online and finished it and arranged it and sent it in. And Bob Dylan gave him the go-ahead to release it. So he basically co-wrote a song with Bob Dylan, and it's called. He named it On Wisconsin. But Trapper has a new album out called Osborne, and there's a song on it called Loaded about the pharmaceutical industry. He is great. So I'm very excited to talk to Trapper.
That's fantastic. I can't wait. I'll be listening in as I often do, as I try to do from 6 until 8. You can also hear Pete on the Civic Media app from 6 until 8 as well. Home station WGBW in Green Bay. You can hear him across the network every evening from 6 until 8. Pete, a couple minutes left here, a minute and a half or so. Just final thoughts on what Robert Redford meant to you as someone who comes from the entertainment world?
I mean, you know what, Todd, honestly, I've been in the business, but I'm mostly a fan too. And I just, I never met him. I don't know him. I just know his work. And I like that. I like knowing what he left behind. Like, people, oftentimes celebrities get criticized. Oh, Frank Sinatra, he had affairs, or people always looking for something to judge people or find something negative. And I just want to say, you know what? Do you know how much joy Frank Sinatra's music has brought to people? Do you know how much joy Robert Redford's career in movies have brought to people? Just be quiet and follow and look at their art and look at the legacy they left. And that's certainly the case with Robert Redford.
I well said. I couldn't agree more with what you just said. I would add, for me, I think it's what you said earlier, Pete, is that obviously I never met him, never knew him, whatever, but just from afar, watching him work and appreciating what he created, and seemingly, and we've seen it in a couple of these stories, going to bat against bigger interests and saying, no, I believe in this and I'm not compromising. And that takes guts. And that takes some the balls, I'll say it, and some fortitude. But to say, no, if they don't want to give in, I'm not going to do that. To believe in to truly believe and to put that out there on the screen for the world because you believed in it. That's a lesson for me.
And it's a big, and that sounds easier than it is. And going back to social media, Todd, I hear all these people that they make these statements like, you know me, I say it how I feel it and all that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, that's not hard to do on social media when you're using an avatar. Yeah. I mean, when you actually have to do it against big entities, whether it's a movie studio or $1 billion corporation or whatever, it takes, like you said, I won't be as risque as you, Todd, but it takes major guts. And he had it. He was a great artist and seemingly a really good human being.
Yeah, I could not agree more. And he'll be sorely missed. But the cool thing is, people like this pass, their work still lives. And we can still go back and watch The Sting and Butch Cassidy, The Sundance Kid, and all of his other work. And that's the legacy that we could all learn from. Pete Schwaba, thank you so very much. And I'll encourage everybody to tune in tonight from 6 until 8 with Pete and his trusty sidekick, Conrad.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks for asking me to be on. I love being on your show.
The feeling is mutual. You're welcome anytime. Thanks for taking the time, Pete, on
Always.
A busy day for you. Really appreciate it. Stay tuned. Maggie Dawn is next. This is Todd saying whatever you're fighting for, whatever you believe in, do not give up. Keep banging your drum. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Bye-bye. right, thanks for everybody to the stream. I wrapped a little early. That's an
Yeah,
example.
we haven't heard that
of
much of the
I
song in
know
a
that.
while.
Well, that's good we hear the song because who wants to hear Todd all the time? But I don't know why I looked at the clock wrong and I thought, oh, I got like 10 seconds left, and then I had like a minute.
I did that last week, and like the song kept going. I'm like, how early was I? Like, it was
Right.
crazy. Thanks a